apologies for not being able to go live last night as I had planned to bring y'all the newest information on this case. I am keeping up with this case extensively, and any new information I get on it, I will be putting it out here for you. I did get together some clips, some news clips from the media, and I have put them together here, and this is the most recent information, credible information that is out at the moment on these two. And there is some new things that has came about and have been found out. If you were not able to catch our live yesterday morning, then make sure and catch that as well, because there is also lots of information in that. Anything that I do find that is important to this case, even if it is about, say, his brother or any new interviews or things of that nature, I will be randomly posting them here. I've made a playlist here, and that is where I'm going to be keeping all of the information and kind of building this case from the beginning, so you can kind of try to stay on top of what's going on in the case. Now, there definitely is a warrant out now for her arrest as well. Many things has came about on her, and it definitely appears that this was not some kind of a situation that she was brought against her will. She actually, in my opinion, seems to be the basically the mastermind behind this whole escape. It's really hard to just wrap your head around why she would do this. It just doesn't even make sense, really. But personally speaking, I completely blame her. She is an officer, a corrections officer. She is here to protect and serve, but instead she chose to assist a very dangerous man out into the free world, and that is putting everyone that he is around in extreme danger. So in my opinion, she is really more to blame than he is. Whether she was manipulated, in love, whatever the case may be, it is still extremely irresponsible of her, knowing his past, to put him back out here in the free world amongst innocent people. And how this went undetected for a full 6 hours is absolutely insane. Literally insane. The way she walked out a good ways ahead of him. I mean, that everything is wrong with this. There's nothing right. And for them to have a 6-hour head start, like literally, there's no telling where they are. A lot of people assume that they have left the country, but you know, who knows? The old saying is, the best place to hide is right in front of someone's nose. So everyone needs to be honestly on high alert until these two are found. Okay, here is the most recent news clips, the most recent information that has came out about these two into the mainstream media. As I said, I will be randomly posting videos, even possibly posting things in the community post. So please keep a check out on that, and please be safe.
Seems like something out of a movie. The search for a convict and the corrections officer accused of helping him escape. Vicky White and Casey White, no relation, have been on the run since Friday. And some of this surveillance video right here, this is from the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department. It shows the moment Vicky possibly facilitates Casey's escape from jail.
Former inmates in the Lauderdale County Jail are shocked the former deputy who they knew well helped a convicted killer escape from jail.
You knew her, you loved her. She was that type of person. Just an awesome lady.
Vicky White served 17 years at the Lauderdale County Jail. In that time, protocol was for 2 officers to escort inmates to and from the jail. This video shows White acting alone. Sheriff Rick Singleton walks us through the escape.
This is his cell block, so he would have come out of that door, come over against this hall, and come down this way. Director White instructed the deputy to bring him to booking. They had brought him into this booking room. When he's brought in here, he had been seated on one of these benches and prepared for transport. Basically means putting handcuffs, leg shackles, and they're connected by a chain. Came out this door over here, and this is the door from the video. They come out this door, came out here into the sally port. Of course, the car was sitting right here. She put him in the back seat, and then they drove out the door.
The couple had a 6-hour head start before jail staff realized they were on the run. Lifelong friend Debbie Burbank doesn't think Vicky acted alone.
Vicky's always been a good girl. I went to school with her. It's got to be other people involved, and Vicky's just a scapegoat.
Others who knew her say Casey White manipulated her.
I feel like if she had anything to do with it, it was definitely love, because I don't see Vicky doing that, because she's always loved her job.
Sheriff Singleton believes the pair had a 2-year non-sexual relationship where Vicky showed favoritism toward Casey by giving him extra food.
I always say that they don't call these guys con men for nothing. You know, they con. And it's not the first time a female corrections officer has been wooed by some inmate.
U.S. Marshals offering a $5,000 reward for finding Vicky White and a $10,000 reward for finding Casey White. Authorities now believe the couple could be in the southeast region.
Violent convict continues. You've heard about this. The corrections officer authorities believe helped him escape from jail. Now in a 6-day, she's wanted too. Sheriff's office in Lauderdale County also confirming the couple had a special relationship that may have been building and taking place for years.
In this newly released surveillance video, the pair left the jail last Friday like it was any other day. Corrections officer Vicky White holding the door open for accused killer Casey White, who was handcuffed and shackled. They can later be seen popping into Vicky White's patrol car, but the man serving 75 years in prison for violent crimes and the deputy honored with 4 Employee of the Year awards have not been seen since.
We have discovered some evidence that confirms that there was a relationship outside her work hours. I'm not talking about a physical relationship, but outside her work hours there was some contact between the two.
The sheriff giving us a tour of where White, facing capital murder charges, was staying.
Here, Casey White's cell was the first cell here on the left. You got the 2 windows. One of the windows looks into the bunk room.
A former inmate expressing shock over the deputy now suspected of freeing the massive 6'9" convict.
Everybody loved her. Nobody had nothing but good things to say about Vicky, ever.
In this small Alabama community,
I think they left the area. They had a 6-hour head start.
many are playing armchair detective, with curbside chats turning from confusion to concern for the deputy.
I think she maybe was thinking that they were going to have a relationship. He's playing her.
The Sheriff's Department confirming this 2007 Ford Edge with damage to the rear bumper was their getaway car, though miscommunication led a local police department to publish that alert before the time was right.
It's basically put us back to almost square one. We know they're going to probably get rid of that vehicle, so now then we're not going to have a clue again what they're driving.
Vicky White's former mother-in-law worried about a woman she says would never stray far from home and loved her family.
I figure he should have done something to her. We probably won't ever hear from him.
Really didn't know what to feel, but it was definitely a state of shock because I thought that he was in the state prison. So I thought, wow. I know just 2 months after he murdered my mother, he shot his girlfriend and went on a crime spree, and he tried to escape during his arraignment in 2020. So he has a history of being very violent and not easy to keep in prison. She went out of her way to help people. She lived in kind of a low-income community, and a lot of people there didn't have vehicles, so she would actually give them rides to their doctor, even as far away as Birmingham. I mean, she wouldn't expect anything in return. And it's just that wear and tear and gas in her car. She just went out of her way to help people. She's a very nice woman. Because I thought we had the guy, and suddenly he's gone, and he didn't just escape. Somebody helped him escape. So I feel like it's just there have been huge mistakes and failures along the way.
Assistant Director of Corrections allegedly helped a convicted felon and murder suspect walk out of the county jail Friday in broad daylight. Casey Cole White, facing a pending capital murder trial in Alabama and already serving a 75-year sentence on attempted murder and kidnapping charges, escaped custody on April 29th, sparking a nationwide manhunt. The Lauderdale County Detention Center's Assistant Director of Corrections, Vicky White, allegedly helped the convicted felon and murder suspect walk out of the county jail Friday in broad daylight, according to the local sheriff. Casey White, 38, stands at an imposing 6 feet 9 inches tall and weighs somewhere between 260 and 330 pounds, according to authorities and prison records. He was a football player at West Limestone High School, according to former classmates, and grew up in rural Leicester, Alabama. Neighbors who knew him said he was quiet and often polite, but had no moral checkpoint. Court records show he pleaded guilty to a 2010 domestic assault for attacking a male relative with an axe handle and received a sentence of 6 years in state prison. Then in 2015, in a jealous rage over an ex-girlfriend, he rushed into her house armed with 2 handguns, according to court documents. Suspecting she was sleeping with one of the residents, he broke into the back bedroom and found her 2 roommates holding hands with one another and realized they were not involved with his ex, according to police documents. He ordered the roommates onto the floor at gunpoint, then turned his anger toward the ex-girlfriend. The victim was able to dash past him and out the back door, according to a warrant related to the December 2015 home invasion. He told investigators he shot at her as she ran but missed. He continued firing and fled out the front door, shooting the roommate's dog in the process. The ex escaped through the back door and the roommates climbed out the bathroom window and ran to a neighbor's house. Responding officers found bullet holes in the walls, the dog dead in the hallway, and 2 children sheltering in the basement. But White took off in a stolen car and led cops on a chase across state lines to Giles County, Tennessee, before police eventually cornered him. He stated that he wanted to kill her and have the police kill him, the warrant concludes. His only regret was that neither was successful. He stated that if he was released, he would kill the victim. The sheriff's office said Wednesday that he had also threatened to kill his ex-sister. Local and federal law enforcement said the 2 potential targets had been warned of his escape and were placed under protection. The area he's from, West Limestone, is very backwoods, lots of wooded areas, not very populated, a former acquaintance told Fox News Digital, asking for anonymity due to safety concerns. He knows that area very well. I don't believe they ran to the beach. Not without him doing what he said he would do first. Vicky White had been expected to retire Friday before the escape. She had held her house in mid-April and told colleagues for months she planned to relocate to the beach. But rural West Limestone, 30 miles from the nearest town and dotted with a mix of forests, farmland, hills and hollows, could be an ideal place for a fugitive to hide out, according to area residents as well as former investigators. The marshals are going to figure that out, said David Katz, a former D special agent who took part in the 1990 manhunt for the mobster Constable Gus Faraci. They're going to speak to anyone who knew him growing up, people who went hunting with him, and figure out what area, what part of the country he's most at home with. A jury convicted him of 7 felonies in connection with the mayhem, including attempted murder and multiple counts of kidnapping. Records show a prior conviction for domestic violence. 2 months before the crime spree, Connie Ridgway, 58, was beaten and stabbed to death in her home in nearby Rogersville. While serving a 75-year sentence in the crime spree case, White told authorities he was responsible for the crime in a murder-for-hire plot in 2015, then pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Austin Williams, Ridgway's son, said he had trouble believing the murder-for-hire theory, but noted that his mother was expected to testify in a fraud case involving another woman before the attack. His romantic relationships probably don't last long, he told Fox News Digital, sharing a warning to Vicky White, get away from him and give him up as soon as possible.
Dealing with Casey White for 18 years, most recently in 2015 when he went on a bloody one-man crime spree. In December 2015, Casey White is being chased by Alabama law enforcement. He stops at a Giles County rest stop.
She locked the car door up, and then he got mad and started shooting at her.
It's here that he unsuccessfully tries to carjack a Kentucky woman who's driving this little green Toyota. Detective Shane Hunter worked that case and says White fires multiple times at the woman, with bullets punching holes in metal and lodging in the driver's seat near the woman's head. You can see that there's blood everywhere. Ultimately, the victim is hit in the arm, but she survives. In your crime spree, there was multiple victims, tons of gunfire. Did this guy care at all about shooting at people?
No, absolutely not. No, his main focus that particular night was to get away from law enforcement.
This is video from the same night. That's Casey White driving into a gas station at exit 22. White pulls a gun on a Williamson County man who's driving that white car. White steals the vehicle, and law officers chase White into Alabama. There's a ferocious gun battle that blows out the stolen car's windows, and White is captured. Now 7 years later, White's a fugitive with an Alabama corrections officer. Lieutenant Hunter tells me he does not think it will end well. You literally just showed me a crime spree, a one-man wrecking crew on December of 2015. What do you make of that? What's your recollection of that involving this guy?
My recollection out of everything, especially the interview with Casey, just the overwhelming manipulator that he is, and how easily he talked about the crime spree, and how he has no remorse for life whatsoever. I think that anybody he encounters, he's definitely a danger to society. I think if he is trapped, pinned, he will use whatever means he can to try to